In a quiet town nestled among rolling hills, a sense of tranquility masked a sinister secret that would send shivers down the spines of its unsuspecting residents. Lily, a sweet and innocent 7-year-old girl, lived with her parents in a charming cottage on the outskirts of town. Little did they know that the arrival of a seemingly innocent antique doll would unravel their peaceful existence. Lily's parents, Daniel and Emily, were avid collectors of vintage items, and their latest acquisition, a delicate porcelain doll named Isabel, seemed like the perfect addition to their collection. With her delicate features and intricate dress, Isabel was a relic of another time, an exquisite and eerie creation that seemed to emanate a haunting presence. From the moment Isabel crossed the threshold of Lily's bedroom, an unsettling change swept over the household. Lily, once a bubbly and carefree child, began to exhibit odd behavior. She spoke in hushed tones to the doll, giggling as if engaged in a private conversation. Her once bright eyes now held a distant and vacant look, as if her very essence was slipping away. Emily and Daniel exchanged concerned glances, their worry growing with each passing day. They attempted to separate Lily from the doll, believing that the unsettling bond was a result of an overactive imagination. Yet, no matter where they hid Isabel, she always seemed to reappear by Lily's side. As nights descended, Lily's bedroom became a realm of terror. Whispers echoed through the darkness, chilling gusts of wind seemed to emanate from nowhere, and Lily's voice would rise in a twisted chorus of laughter, far different from her own. Emily and Daniel's own nights were plagued by sleepless hours, haunted by visions of their daughter's vacant eyes and the doll's sinister presence. Desperation gripped the parents as they sought help from every corner. A local priest was called to bless the house, but even his sacred rituals couldn't banish the malevolent energy that seemed to permeate the air. They consulted paranormal experts who spoke of restless spirits and ancient curses, their words serving only to deepen the sense of dread. One evening, as a storm raged outside, Emily ventured into Lily's room, determined to confront the source of the darkness that had consumed their lives. The room was cast in an eerie glow, the doll's eyes seeming to follow her every move. Trembling, Emily reached out and picked up Isabel, her heart pounding in her chest. In a voice that seemed to echo from beyond, Isabel spoke, her words a chilling blend of innocence and menace. "I want to play forever, Mommy. Lily is my friend now, just like the others." Horror surged through Emily's veins as realization dawned. Isabel was no ordinary doll, she was a vessel for a malevolent spirit, a collector of souls who sought to bind innocent children to her twisted will. With a surge of maternal strength, Emily smashed the doll against the floor, its porcelain form shattering into fragments. A scream echoed through the room, a sound that seemed to blend the wails of 1,000 tormented souls. As the storm raged outside, a torrent of darkness surged through the room, sweeping away the malevolent presence that had haunted Lily's life. Lily awoke from her trance, her eyes once again bright and filled with life. She looked around, confusion and fear etched on her face, and then her gaze landed on the shattered remains of the doll. In the aftermath, peace returned to the cottage on the outskirts of town. The doll's curse had been broken, and Lily's innocence was restored. But the memory of Isabel's haunting whispers and the specter of her sinister presence would forever linger in the corners of their minds, a reminder that darkness could take root even in the most unsuspecting of places. A remote village nestled between towering mountains and dense forests, a sense of unease lingered like a shadow. The villagers spoke in hushed tones of a cursed doll, a relic from an era long forgotten. Its name, once whispered with trepidation, had faded into obscurity, but its malevolent presence remained. The doll, known as Seraphina, was a delicate porcelain creation, her lifelike eyes seeming to hold a sinister secret. For generations, Seraphina had passed from owner to owner, leaving a trail of tragedy in her wake. The first to fall victim was a reclusive collector named Mr. Thorne. He had acquired Seraphina from an antique shop, captivated by her eerie charm. Within days, strange sounds echoed through Mr. Thorne's mansion at night. Whispering voices seemed to emanate from the shadows, and he often found Seraphina in different rooms, her expression shifting as if mocking him. One stormy evening, a chilling cry pierced the air. Villagers rushed to Mr. Thorne's mansion, only to find his lifeless body at the foot of the grand staircase. Seraphina sat atop a shelf, her glassy eyes seemingly alight with a malevolent gleam. The cursed doll found its way into the hands of a grieving widow, Mrs. Hawthorne. Desperate for companionship, she welcomed Seraphina into her home. Yet, the doll's eerie antics continued. Mrs. Hawthorne would hear soft laughter in the dead of night, and she often discovered Seraphina in places she hadn't left her. One fateful morning, as the village awoke to the news, Mrs. Hawthorne's cottage lay in ruins, engulfed in flames. Her body was found amidst the ashes, her life taken by a tragic accident that left the villagers with a sense of foreboding. Despite the mounting tragedies, Seraphina's allure drew the attention of a curious scholar, Professor Whitman. He was undeterred by the tales of misfortune, believing that superstitions had no power over him. He placed the doll in a glass case, convinced that it would keep her contained. As days turned into weeks, the professor's conviction wavered. He heard whispers in the evening breeze and caught fleeting glimpses of movement from the corner of his eye. Seraphina's gaze seemed to follow him, her smile growing more malevolent by the day. Then, one moonlit night, as the professor studied ancient texts, a chilling laughter filled the room. He turned to see Seraphina's glass case shattered, the doll perched on his desk. Before he could react, a gust of wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candles and plunging him into darkness. The next morning, the villagers discovered the professor's lifeless body, hanging from a beam in his study. Seraphina was nowhere to be found, her presence having vanished like a wisp of smoke. As the years passed, the legend of Seraphina faded into obscurity, yet the terror she wrought lingered in the memories of those who had witnessed her malevolent influence. The doll's true origin remained a mystery, her whereabouts lost to time. To this day, the village remains haunted by the chilling echoes of Seraphina's curse. The doll, a vessel for a darkness beyond comprehension, continues to elude capture, leaving a trail of tragedy and whispers in her wake. Her sinister legacy lives on, a reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed, and that even the most innocent of objects can harbor an unspeakable evil. In the heart of the countryside, surrounded by overgrown forests and endless fields, stood an old, forgotten mansion known as Blackwood Manor. This imposing structure had weathered the passage of time, its walls holding untold stories and mysteries. The townspeople whispered about the mansion, claiming it was cursed, and few dared to venture near it after dark. One fateful day, a young couple named Ethan and Olivia, driven by their fascination for the unknown, decided to explore the rumors surrounding Blackwood Manor. Armed with flashlights and courage, they entered the decaying mansion through a half-hidden, overgrown pathway. Inside, they discovered a hidden door concealed behind a crumbling bookshelf. With trembling hands, they pushed it open, revealing a secret room untouched by time. The room was a stark contrast to the rest of the mansion, as if it had been carefully preserved. Dust danced in the air as the couple's flashlights revealed an array of antique furniture, faded tapestries, and a wooden chest sitting at the center. But what drew their attention most was a doll that rested on a small, ornate pedestal. The doll was a masterpiece of craftsmanship, its porcelain skin and intricate dress making it seem almost lifelike. Its glass eyes sparkled eerily in the dim light, seemingly following their every move. Olivia was captivated by her beauty, while Ethan felt an unsettling chill crawl down his spine. A note lay beside the doll, its paper yellowed with age. Trembling, Olivia picked it up and read aloud. To the one who finds this doll, beware the secrets it holds. It carries the soul of Isabella, a young girl who vanished from these walls long ago. Her laughter lingers, and her tears stain the past. Free her, if you dare. Brushing off the note's ominous warning as superstition, Olivia picked up the doll and examined it more closely. As she turned it over, she noticed a tiny keyhole on the doll's back. Curiosity and a hint of unease drove them to search the room for the key. It took time, but eventually, they found it within the wooden chest. Olivia inserted the key into the doll's back, and as she turned it, a soft click echoed through the room. Suddenly, a cold gust of wind swept through the room, extinguishing their flashlights. Panic set in as they fumbled to relight them, but when the beams cut through the darkness, they were met with a chilling sight. The doll's glass eyes now glowed with a malevolent light, and its porcelain lips curled into a sinister smile. It moved, its joints creaking softly as it turned its head toward them. Then the windows shattered. Objects began to move. The couple started to run towards the main hall, but the door was locked. Their footsteps echoed through the mansion's corridors, each sound reverberating with an otherworldly resonance. Whispers filled the air, carried on the wind that seemed to seep through the very walls of the old house. Ethan and Olivia's breaths came in ragged gasps as they searched for an escape. The mansion had transformed around them, its once static rooms now alive with spectral activity. Portraits lining the walls seemed to watch them with hollow eyes, and shadows danced in the corners of their vision. The doll's malevolent laughter echoed through the corridors, a haunting reminder of the evil they had awakened. "We need to find a way out, Olivia," Ethan shouted. Olivia nodded, her wide eyes scanning the dimly lit hallways. "There must be another exit. We can't let this place consume us." They followed the eerie glow of the moonlight filtering through the broken windows, their path illuminated by the twisted illumination. As they turned a corner, they stumbled upon an old study, its shelves lined with dusty tomes and artifacts of a forgotten era. But their attention was drawn to a large ornate mirror that hung on the wall. The mirror's surface seemed to ripple, distorting their reflections. Fear gnawed at their hearts as the whispers grew louder, becoming a cacophony of voices from beyond. Ethan approached the mirror cautiously, his reflection moving of its own accord. Olivia grabbed his arm, her eyes wide with dread. "Ethan, don't," she warned. But it was too late. The mirror's surface rippled again, and the couple found themselves pulled into its depths. The world around them twisted and contorted, their surroundings becoming a surreal landscape of darkness and flickering lights. When they finally emerged from the mirror's grip, they found themselves in the mansion's main hall. But it was a distorted version of the one they had entered. The walls were adorned with grotesque paintings, and the air was heavy with a sense of impending doom. The doll stood at the center of the hall, its malevolent presence stronger than ever. "We have to end this," Olivia said, her voice determined. She remembered the key she still held in her hand, the key that had triggered the doll's awakening. She approached the doll cautiously, her heart pounding. With a deep breath, Olivia inserted the key into the doll's back once again, and this time, she turned it in the opposite direction. The doll's sinister grin faded, its glow extinguished, and its form began to crumble. A high-pitched wail echoed through the hall, and then, silence. The mansion around them trembled, its ethereal hold loosening. The grotesque paintings reverted to normal, and the air grew lighter. As the last echoes of the doll's malevolent laughter faded away, Ethan and Olivia felt a sense of relief wash over them. When they finally exited Blackwood Manor, the overgrown forests and endless fields seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, as if the very land itself rejoiced at their escape. The townspeople continued to whisper about the mansion's curse, but now, Ethan and Olivia could attest to the darkness that lay within its walls. And as they walked away from the mansion, the memory of their harrowing encounter remained etched in their minds, a testament to the evil that could be awakened by the curious and the daring.